Hi guys, since finishing the exhaust fabrication videos, I thought I'd just do a quick one around everything else that went on to get this turbo installed. Alright, let's get into it. We'll start off under the car so you can see what that looks like. So as you can see, the exhaust system sits above the K-frame line, which is good because I don't have to worry about hitting anything, essentially. There's plenty of clearance everywhere, as you can see, and it's pretty open, so all the hot air can sort of dissipate and move around. Actually, over here, I put a heat shield in front of the oil pump for obvious reasons. And there's also heat shielding as we move up into the collection area, but we'll view that from the top. They are the screamer pipes, as you can see there, evenly spaced. And then out to the dump pipe out here, just in front of the driver's side wheel. Alright, so continuing on with the exhaust up top. So it's busy around the collection area, but you can still get your hands in there. I've done the belt, just not looking forward to doing the water pump anytime soon. But who is, right? Moving along to the alternator. So that's all stock bracket, stock alternator. The oil pump has a heat shield right behind it all the way. So right from the top there, as you can see, all the way down to the bottom of where the oil filter is. The chassis rail, so that lip there, I originally had about a 1/2 inch, 1 inch clearance, but just wasn't happy with it because this thing's going to be launching off the line, and I reckon there's going to be some serious twists going on with the factory mounts. So I just bent that lip over there to give myself a bit more room. Other than that, it's the back here as well. It's pretty much stock. Other than that, at the back, nothing else got touched or modified. I'm running these spark plug lead clips to keep them off the headers as much as possible. Alright, driver's side exhaust. So just back to the collection area. I've put shielding in front of it, as you can see, as it's really close to the thermo. And also behind it, as it's close to the balancer and other stuff. I do want to put shielding everywhere. Sometimes all it does is just hold the heat in. So it's only around close contact points. Other than that, it's pretty open. Having said that, the dump pipe, that did get wrapped. Due to multiple burns and 2 completely melted timing lights. Trying to read the timing mark down here is an absolute bastard and will always continue to be. But that's what I have to live with. Also down here, I just massaged that chassis lip over, the rail lip. It's a bit more header clearance. There we go, it's better. More header clearance. Other than that, it's pretty, nothing else is touched. I'm running those same clips. It's pretty close to the line locker, so I put some shielding in there too. What else? And that's just the cutout on the battery tray for the dump pipe. So the original plan when I wanted to do a front-facing single turbo setup like this is that I want to be able to close the bonnet and maybe get it on the street and drive it around. It essentially all went to plan other than the dump pipe. And while something might sound great in your head and the plan all works out, until you actually get there, you don't know if it's going to work or not. But there was a backup plan, and that was the battery tray idea. So what I wanted to do was do a 180 on this dump, and that's also why I offset that gate at the time. And the 180 would have gone essentially back between that screamer and the header, and then back through the K-frame or back around the engine mount, or somehow come out. It just didn't happen. I didn't want to cut the car up, and I wanted to try and make it so that it was engine bay friendly, you might say. It just didn't happen. It wasn't enough clearance, and it was going to compromise. It was going to go right under the K-frame. I just gave up, and that's when I realized that the battery tray can easily be replaced later. It wasn't that big a deal to do, and it's a drag car off the street anyway. And then we ended up with this. No big deal. So I'm pretty happy with the way the oil return line panned out. It's about 1.5 feet long and goes directly from the turbo right down to the timing case cover, which you can see actually better this way. There we go. So it's a 1/2 inch return line, dash 8 fittings, and when I built the motor I used the early style 5 litre time case cover with the fuel pump plate on it. All I did was make a custom bung plate for it, and that was it. Done. Moving up to the turbo, it's a T4 full open turbine housing, and the other side is a Borg-Warner SXE 372. So a 72mm general bearing turbo, feeding up into a very simple intake system, which started off life as a Spectre carby hat from memory. Just has like a 4150 4-barrel style opening and a 3.5 inch intake from memory. And on the other side of it is just one of the cheap Aeroflow 50mm blow-off valves. Pretty simple to do really, just cut and fabbed on. I'll just quickly mention which Phytech I'm running here. It's the Go EFI 4 model, so 4 ejectors, 600 horsepower power adder system, controlling air and fuel only. The timing is done via a very simple MSD setup, which is a mechanical advance and a custom bush. A lot of mixed reviews out there about Phytech and all these sort of self-learning systems. Personally, I've never had any issue with it. Fires up straight away. But my tuner tells me that there's certain things we can do to make it a bit more user-friendly for my setup. So the radiator, as you can see, there's not a lot of room going on. The fan is from a 2015 Corolla from memory. I literally walked around the whole wrecking yard until I found something that would work for my setup. On a Commodore, the radiator returns usually on the driver's side and the fillers on the passenger side. As you can see, that's been switched here for obvious reasons, but that's just the nature of the beast. Actually, I'll take you around there now. So, as you can see here, the inlet and returner on the same side. There's been a baffle in this side of the tank being put in, which allows the hot water to come in, do its cycle throughout the whole radiator and come back out the outlet, so it still retains its efficiency. If we move the top here, I actually, because it's the thermostat is higher than the radiator, I got a temperature sensor little adapter here, and then installed a Series 2 Buick, so like VP, VR, V6 thermostat pressure relief valve, just so I can bleed the air out of it. Haven't had any troubles with it. Race Radiators in Dandenong did a awesome job, and a cheap job too. I think the whole thing cost me less than $200 to get modified and pressure tested. So yeah, just awesome guys to deal with. Look, hopefully some of you found that video interesting, and if you did like the video, please subscribe to the channel Commod. I'm about to get stuck into installing this Snow Performance water methanol system now, and we'll post that video shortly. Cheers.